O'Reilly. Check engine light on? Take the guesswork out of your check engine light with O'Reilly Veriscan. It's free and provides a report with solutions based on over 650 million vehicle scans verified by ASE certified master technicians. And if you need help, we can recommend a shop for you. Ask for O'Reilly Veriscan today.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
This is a podcast from Minute Media.
Hashtag no music, no intro, and buddy, we got something to talk about tonight.
About fucking time. God damn.
It's funny because probably 30 minutes before the trade's announced, I was thinking like, oh, maybe Ryan and I should have a pod tonight and discuss like, drafting for need versus drafting for best, BPA, best player available and all that. And then that shit just went out the window. So now we have something to actually talk about. If you've been living under a rock today, I'm going to simply recap it. I seem to be having microphone issues for whatever reason, so bear with me. Basically, the Saints traded their 18th pick in the draft to the Eagles. They got the 16th overall pick. They got the 19th overall pick from the Eagles. And in doing so, they send pick 18 to the Eagles, their third round pick this year to the Eagles, their seventh round pick this year to the Eagles, a 2021 first round pick, and a 2024 second round pick. The Saints now have the 16th overall pick in the draft, as well as the 19th overall pick in the draft. And I guess we should talk about they have a 6th round pick, 194, that they got from the Eagles as well. The draft just got a lot more exciting, and we are going to be in Vegas for these fireworks to see it unfold. I want to say this. I'm going to say this, and I'm trying. I don't think this is hyperbole, but this is one of the biggest trades in the Saints history as an organization in terms of importance.
I agree.
I don't want to understate that. Like this, this draft, it was huge before, right? Like we talked about how huge they have to do with this draft to completely change the tenor of the team. And by doing this, you have more bites at the apple. But if you don't hit,
you gotta hit, baby.
You gotta hit. So just what were your initial thoughts when you heard about the trade?
I mean, first I had to read it like 8 times. Like, what? Like, we did what? But then after the dust settled, it's like, okay, like, this is like, I know the draft value nerds.
Oh boy!
Like, the Eagles.
Oh
the Eagles
boy!
the Saints got shafted. Blah 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 blah.
They already out, bro. They already out.
All out there. Don't care. I don't care. Because this stuff, like I don't see how these people still fall for this stuff. This stuff here does not matter. It's all about the players. All about the players. It's all that matters at the end of the day. So when I saw that, the first thing came to mind is like, okay, they've made the decision that they want to retool through the draft. They've made that decision. Like, they've made that decision that this year, they're not going to spend a lot of money, but they want to use the draft to fill the gaps, build the talent on the team. Because, they're kind of up against the wall with the cap. It's starting to look like they want to, not be like super cap conservative, but just kind of clean the house a little bit, kind of get things in order. So if that's the case, that's a smart move to make a move like this because you can get two. If you get two first round picks, you got control of two players on cheap ass contracts for 5 years. If the first round picks, you hope they are really good starters. And we got like a couple picks in the top 50, got a couple picks in the top 100. So you have a chance to really inject some talent into your team. So that's what got me excited. It was just like, okay, they have a chance to really inject talent, and not only that, they have a chance to target someone if they really feel they need to. Which we get into that later, but it just opens up the possibilities for the team.
It completely opens up the possibilities for the team. Thank you for just kind of putting that out of commission. If the Saints hit on these two picks in the first round, and if one of those picks happened to be a quarterback,
doesn't matter.
2024 second round pick, next year's first round pick, it does not matter. The Saints, in theory, right? If listeners of this podcast go back to the mock draft simulator Ryan and I did, right? In that Malik Willis draft, we essentially did to a degree, right? We moved up in the draft, blah blah. But like thought exercises, we just did something similar when we were doing the mock draft simulator, right? We gave up a future first round pick to go up and draft Malik. Now, again, ask Kansas City, right? You think the Chiefs, as an organization or as fans, when they traded up a future first round pick to get Patrick Mahomes, that they care about that first round pick?
What was even that pick? Like who cares?
Right? Who does not matter. It literally doesn't matter if you hit on the pick. And I can't understate this. If the pick is a quarterback and you hit on that pick, and I'm not even saying that the quarterback has to be Patrick Mahomes or Lamar Jackson.
No.
They could be Mac Jones. Didn't
the Patriots trade up for Mac Jones?
No, they stayed at 15.
Oh, they stayed pat. They stayed at 15. Right.
Stayed pat. Yeah. My initial reaction was, one, oh shit. Two, there is not, besides DA, there is, well, so let me word this correctly. Besides DA, the person in the organization that has the most pressure on them is Jeff Ireland.
Mm-hmm.
He interviewed for that Bears GM job. He didn't get it. There was some interest in him as a GM this last interview cycle. Interviewed, didn't get the job, came back, and if there's like some secret type of succession plan where like Mickey gets bumped up to whatever higher title than GM and he has a nice cushy job, and then Jeff Ireland gets elevated to GM, can't talk tonight, it has to be because of this draft, right? Because a lot of the excellence of the 2017 draft came from Jeff Ireland and the scouts, and that was a home run draft. But you can have a home run draft if you don't keep that talent that you drafted, kind of becomes mute, bro.
Right.
Marcus Williams gone, Trigger Trey gone, Aquadine Muhammad gone, and they're all like Trigger Trey had a great season. Marcus Williams is a great young player. Aquadine Muhammad's like a starter in the league, a starter at defensive end. And he was drafted like in the fourth round. So there's so much pressure on Jeff Ireland for this upcoming draft. And we've seen before when the Saints had two picks, they had two picks in 2015. That was the Pete and Stephon Anthony draft. They had two picks in 2011. That was like, they have to have another 2011 type of draft. They got to get a Cam Jordan and a Mark Ingram, type of players. But my other thought I had is and it kind of coincides because I tweeted it because it was my first initial thought. And I said, I think they're targeting a quarterback and I think they're targeting a wide receiver. Then, and I tweeted it, just, you know how it is, thought exercise, just whatever, goes from your mind to Twitter. And then Tony Pauline, all draft insider. Tony's already spoiling goddamn picks in the draft, bro. When me and you in Vegas, we're gonna pull up them Tony tweets.
I'm telling you.
Bro, he said that the Panthers gonna draft Charles Frost. Trevor Penny's not gonna get past the Ravens. We got 3 weeks left, bro. But he tweets basically, or quote tweets, that the Saints, wanted to come away in this draft with a quarterback and a wide receiver, and that by making this move, they are essentially ensuring themselves that they can get both potentially. We've talked about it. We've hammered it so hard on this podcast for so long about like what's the vision, blah blah. I think we got some of the answer today because all these moves that they've made in free agency, even today, right? Like these are Goodwill shopping moves, bro. Jaleel Johnson, Taco Charlton, Jordan Evans, former second-round pick that the Bucs drafted a couple of picks after Marcus Williams. He's been out of the league for 2 years, bro. This is Goodwill shopping. And, they brought back PJ. We haven't had an episode since PJ been brought back. Thank God. PJ's back. And all of their free agent moves, besides Jameis, has all been on the defensive side of the ball. And I think what their vision is, and we could be wrong, but I think their plan is, like you kind of said, in this draft, we're going to go offensive heavy. Maybe not every pick's going to be an offensive pick, but the majority of them will be, unless there's like a player that's just above and beyond in terms of their, their board. But they have set themselves up well to completely change the direction and the face of the team.
Yes. That's the exciting part. Like, if they really go offense, not even every pick, but say 4 picks is offense, that's going to be huge, man. Especially if it's a quarterback. If you get a quarterback and a wide receiver, that's going to be huge, man. It's like,
and one of the biggest moves, I don't mean to cut you, one of the biggest moves that they were able to do in this trade is that they didn't give up their second round pick this year.
Exactly.
That
was key. Because this wide receiver draft is deep. Like, I would love them to take a wide receiver in the first round, but if it's not in the first round, it got to be in the second round.
I think what this move signaled to me is, again, we talked about before, bro. Back in the day, you ever on a day nap and you just thirsty, bro. You just swiping right on every single thing. I don't think on their board, I don't even think I'm not saying they don't care which wide receiver is going to be there, but I think that the grades, or maybe the grades that they have on
the cloud,
right? I think they have so many wide receivers graded similarly in that cloud. They're like, shit, we'll get one.
Right. You picking 16 and what else? 19? 16 and 19. You're going to have wide receivers there. It's just a fact.
Period.
Quality wide receivers. So, if they got three wide receivers, if they got 3 wide receivers at 16 and a quarterback, they could take the quarterback. What I'm saying?
Sure can.
Mm-hmm. Because they know they still could get one of their wide receivers that's in the cloud a couple picks later. You know what I'm saying? So it just opened up opportunities. It just opened up so many opportunities to where you can kind of free flow and do what you will, man. So I'm hoping that they stay in pat.
Yes, talk about it.
Instead of moving up.
Yes.
Look, if they love a quarterback, if they really love Kenny Pickett or Malik Wilson, and he starts falling, he gets past Seattle and Carr and Washington and whatever. You know what I'm saying? It's like, and they love him, and they just feel like they're gonna get him. Look, okay. I mean, I respect that. Like, if you have conviction about a position that as important as quarterback, I love it. But if they could find a way to stand pat and be patient,
bro,
and just let it come to them, like a Kenny Pickett with his little small hands, and
you know, I was thinking about after you said that, it reminded me of fucking Scary Movie 2, bro, with Chris Elliott's character.
Chris Elliott is like, I swear I was gonna use the gift, man. If he went to like the Falcons, Kenny Pickett went to the Falcons.
I think, and this is something you and I talked about offline through text message. You texted this to me 3 weeks ago, give or take, and you said, and it was such a salient point, and I think we've talked about it a little bit on this podcast, but you said that quarterbacks of the ilk of Kenny Pickett typically get drafted where they're supposed to go.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought about that, and I was like, it's especially in today's 2022 way that people evaluate quarterbacks, like that, the whole being a pocket passer, bro. If you ain't razzling dazzling, you ain't got that big arm and juking people and make off like you old news, bro. Boring.
Like you're not making us rise to the occasion, man. It's like show me more.
And you talked about being patient, and we kind of talked. We hope they have conviction, then you got to go up and get your guy. But I really feel like if they can try to, because it's hard, bro. Like I can't imagine what it's like in that draft room. But just because you're basically playing a game of live chicken. That's what it is. And New England did it last year. They stayed pat. They stayed at 15. They didn't go up. They just waited. Boom. Mac Jones fell in their lap. So the Saints, if you listen to Michael Lombardi, were trying to trade up from like the late 20s to jump up to get Mac Jones.
Yeah, man.
So if they could, and again, we have no idea where these quarterbacks are going to go. But I do believe that there is a possibility that when all the smoke clears, and especially with Tony already putting things out, bro. Because I'll say this, right? Tony is not right all the time. Speaking of Tony Pauline, but he is right often enough. If you believe what he tweeted today about Charles Cross being like the offensive tackle being the pick at 6, like you could really start to envision Kenny Pickett just falling.
Because he has very few options.
It's Carolina, it's Seattle, Washington, but I really don't get the sense that Washington's going to draft a first-round quarterback when they just gave up 2/3 for like that goes to, like it's not as big as a sunken fallacy cost, but there's still some sunken fallacy cost. Yeah, you gave up 2/3 for Carson Wentz. Like you gotta figure that out. Ugh.
And Kenny Pickett to Seattle it just doesn't make sense to me. Like I just don't see it. Like it just doesn't fit at all to me for some reason. Like I just can't see it. So if you exclude them, it's like who else?
It's I mean, no pun intended, but it's slim pickings. So I couldn't I just pulled up the draft order. Maybe like the Texans at 13 feel like they have the luxury to take take a quarterback, but that doesn't feel right too. But like I said, if he gets past 6 and he gets past 8 Atlanta, he gets past 9. Unless the team just loves him and the Saints get sniped again like they did with Patrick Mahomes, bro, like there's a huge possibility he could be right there at 16.
And I keep going back to that little blurb we saw where Kenny Pickett had said the toughest interviews he had was the Saints.
Talk about it.
So, I mean, that just tells you they were really
Grilling.
doing their homework. Like, they were grilling. They wanted to know if this guy can be the face of the franchise. And look, we saw him up in person at the Senior Bowl. Like, as far as, like, just the aura and look, like, he looks like a straight up franchise QB. I'm 100% sure if he had, like, normal, like, 9-inch hands, like, he would probably be, top 10 easily.
And
top 10.
Oh, I believe it. And I think I've been making the comparison for Kenny Pickett to, I kind of said, like, a more athletic, likable Kirk Cousins. But I think a better description for him is if his like ceiling is he could be Ryan Tannehill. Now, whatever you think of Ryan Tannehill, the Titans version of Ryan Tannehill. Whatever you think about Ryan Tannehill as a player, like does he elevate players around him? I don't know, but he's done enough he's a starting quarterback in the NFL, like, period.
Yeah.
Period.
Gonna be until his late 30s.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying?
And there's so many ways that they can go with these picks. Someone, tweeted at me like, what if they just double dipped and went wide receiver on both picks? Imagine they went Jameson Williams and Chris Olave, bro.
They couldn't keep me off the stage, bro. They did that.
Right on stage, bro.
I'm going to jail that night. Better bail me out, son.
So people keep getting my mentions. I think the plan, I tweeted this, Pauline tweeted it, reported it. He didn't tweet, he reported it. I think the plan is to try to go quarterback, wide receiver. If a quarterback's gone, I think really at that point it's wide receiver, and then whoever is the best player available in their cloud. They could go, because now they could go wide receiver. Maybe Kyle Hamilton slips. They go wide receiver. Go ahead.
No, that's the thing. Like, I think they want to go wide receiver, but if there's like a Kyle Hamilton there, man, they're going to get Kyle, bro. They're going to get him, bro, man.
To quote it, it is written. Let's say, so it's so interesting to me how this can go in terms of pairings. My favorite pairing, and this is not going to happen because I don't see it happen. But my favorite pairing would be a Malik Willis and Jameson Williams pairing, bro. But if we don't go that route, and I think the more realistic pairing is like Kenny Pickett and Jameson Williams, or a Kenny Pickett and like a Kyle Hamilton. And then in the second round, you get your wide receiver. Then you have still completely transfixed the entire tenor of the offense.
Yeah.
Assuming Kenny Pickett works out. Like, I have to put that obviously as a caveat. Like, they have to hit and he has to be good. People keep getting my mentions talking about like this quarterback class being weak and blah, blah. Can y'all please, if you're going to get my mentions, if you listen to this podcast, you're going to get my mentions, go watch some of his games, right? When we talk about players, again, keep in mind, they're just opinions, right? Like, we're just humans watching humans, and sometimes we're right, and when we're right, we're really right. Sometimes we're wrong, we're really wrong. Sorry, Pete Warner. But just go watch Kenny Pickett's games, because everyone's getting my mentions about it's a weak class, it's quarterback class, is good. Go watch some games, man. Like, this whole
just repeat narratives, man. I hate
that's
this.
It. It's
I hate that with anything. Like, not even football. Like, they do that with like politics. And whatever, bro. Like, just repeating what they keep hearing. But it's like, look, there's context. Like, you got to get the context and just not repeat the damn narrative. Kenny Pickett started a shitload of games. If he would have came to the draft last year, he probably would have went in day 3. this year he got better. Just like Joe Burrow. If Joe Burrow would have came out the year before he came out, probably been a day 3 quarterback. He came back, he had a shitload of talent. They had Joe Brady, and he played well. He just got better. Like, this is what happens with players sometimes. They actually get better. And he got better, just like Kenny Pickett. He got better. He became a better player. So, the knock on him, look, NFL teams, when it comes to quarterbacks in the first round, particularly the first round, they like big, 6'3", 6'4", 6'5", super athletic, can run, can move, super big arm. Those are the things they look for. Now, if you go look at the history of the top 10 drafted quarterbacks over the past 20 years or whatever, that picture is ugly, bro. Like, it's not like there are not a lot of franchise quarterbacks in that list. That's just the facts, because there's so many things that play into it. It's where you get drafted. Look, athleticism, that's a great thing to have. Athleticism, big arm, all those are great. But really, it comes down to what's between your head.
Yep. Processing.
Can you throw the ball? Can you make nice throws? Can you adjust and anticipate stuff like that? We know this. Drew Brees is going to the Hall of Fame. Like, we know this. We've had this type of quarterback. And that's not even saying Kenny Pickett is that type of quarterback, because he has like a good arm. He doesn't have like a cannon, but he has like a real good arm, and he's like athleticism. He's not like that's what I'm saying. It's not like he's like this Brady like statue in the pocket. Like, no, this dude moves in the pocket, man. Like,
and he's way more athletic than Mac Jones is. Way more.
Oh, it's no question. It's no question. Because remember last year, the question with Mac Jones, like, he's playing behind this NFL offensive line in college. Like,
all these receivers.
Like, what is he going to do? Like, Kenny Pickett, you can go and watch him. He's playing behind, like, he didn't have a bad offensive line. But,
it wasn't Alabama, though.
It wasn't Alabama at all. So he had to make things happen a lot, and you can go see him make things happen. That question is checked. Like, that question was a check with Mac Jones. We saw how he did, and, in the NFL, he did solid. But, that question is checked for me with Kenny Pickett. My only question with Kenny Pickett is hand size. He had 27 plus fumbles or something like that. Some people say 30 plus. I don't know. I don't know what the true number is. He had a lot of fumbles. Now, the NFL, I did a little research. NFL regulation ball is bigger in pro football.
Yes.
And has a higher pressure, PSI.
It was all Jamar Chase thing, remember?
Yeah. So I don't know. Like, I just don't know how to answer that. Like, that's like super inside of football stuff that I just hope the Saints figure that shit out. Like, I don't know how that works. But I just know watching the kid can fucking play quarterback. He should be good. I have him like a tick above Mac Jones, and I like Mac Jones. I have a tick above Mac Jones, if Mac Jones is coming out right now. You know what I'm saying? And that's good.
That's good. Like, I believe he is a better prospect than Mac Jones. Like, it's not a huge difference, but I do believe he's a better prospect than Mac Jones.
Right. That's a prospect.
So let's talk about. We were talking about pairings before we move on. What is your favorite potential pairing that I'll add the caveat of like a realistic pairing that you hope the Saints walk away from with this draft, with these two picks, if they keep them both.
I mean, to me, you got that two first round picks, man. You get Pickett and you get Jameson.
That's it, bro. That's it.
Like, look, okay, your 2022 season might not be all that. You know what I'm saying?
Because Pickett would likely, obviously, be redshirted unless
he get redshirted.
Unless something happened to Jameis. And even if something happened to Jameis, I can still them saying, like, man, we might just stick with Andy Dalton. But the first thing I tweeted, bro, but what the first thing I tweeted after this trade is if they really bad next year, that 2023 pick a top 5 pick.
Ooh, that's gonna hurt. That's gonna hurt. But you go get Jameson And look, he's gonna be ready this year. It's not like you're gonna have to redshirt him either. He's gonna be
Correct.
He's gonna start camp on the PUP or something like that. But I say probably about week 2, week 3. If there's no, nothing comes, nothing happens, he gonna be ready to go, man.
Oh, you take week 2, week 3? I was thinking like week 6 or 7. What happened?
I don't know, bro. I don't know, man. Like if he start on the PUP but man, these dudes get healthy, man.
Modern medicine's a motherfucker, bro. It's something else.
So he's gonna be able to contribute with Jameis, and
Jameis to Jameson gonna have commentators.
I'm telling you, bro. Like I'm just saying, man. And that's not even including, but then we got other draft picks. You got tight ends, you got running backs. We're not even talking about that stuff.
And I do think this also allows them at some point. They are going to walk away with a tackle in this draft.
Oh yeah,
it could be like we're saying. I think both our dream pairings is Kenny Pickett and Jameson Williams. I think we can agree on that. But if it's Pickett and a top-rated tackle or what have you, again, is it like they got to hit on that offensive line though? Can't have another Cesar Ruiz in that bitch. But it's another way to strengthening the offensive line because if you're drafting a quarterback, you like the key to that success. I think Joe Burrow is completely an outlier from the normal because he has elite weapons around him and he moves well in the pocket. But what is indicative of that success is that he is well protected, right? Yeah. Tehran's gone. So if you get another tackle, you could put that tackle at left tackle, keep Ram at right tackle. You have McCoy at center. Pete, it's going to be Pete at left guard. Like, I think we've come to appreciate Pete in in a full circle type of moment. And then you just kind of have that huge hole at right guard, which hopefully they either come to their senses if they don't start him or, someone can beat him in camp in terms of 51. But it's huge. I also think that the Saints make a move like this, and it's kind of risky, right? I think they're counting their chickens before they hatch thing.
Yeah.
Because they see the Sean Payton contract, Sean Payton as an asset, and to them, they're just going, well, when we trade Sean, we can get 2 first-round picks. We can get 3 first-round picks from a team. And that's a slippery slope to navigate through. Because if you listen to that, the dog that, man, Stephen Ross was ready to, show his ass to get Sean Payton this offseason, bro, before the Saints said no. And they were willing to give up first-round picks to get Sean Payton. But I do wonder, let's say, because Sean has to sign off on where he goes to. If there's like this big time, like this gap until he comes back, I think you get diminishing assets. So I think they think they're playing with house money, but it's kind of a very tricky thing to operate as well.
Right. Like is his name as hot as it is now, a year from now or 2 years from now? You know what I'm saying? Like it might not be that hot, And then also, it trades like that, it comes to, our teams competing for you. Do you got 2 teams trying to get them, 3? So it's hard to know what they can get and what they're going to get in the future. So you're right. They're playing with house money because they think they're going to get more than. You never know. You just don't know. You don't know what Sean Payton's going to do. Sean Payton might get a nice TV contract and be like, I'm gonna take it year to year.
I'm good.
Like Gruden always wanted to come back, but ESPN just kept paying him every year, just like So, and he just did that until the Raiders just opened the pocketbook. So it's just an unknown. You just don't know with that.
I do want to say this because if you listen to ESPN kind of after the trade happened, everyone seems to think that the Saints did this to move up for like an offensive tackle. Can I just say that an NFL team will not trade up or make this type of move 3 weeks before the draft for a goddamn offensive tackle. They just won't. It will not happen. I'm not saying that one of those picks may not be an offensive tackle because of how the draft board just maybe ends up being, but I can say that they're not making this trade to secure an offensive tackle at 16.
No, they're not targeting. There's nobody being targeted.
No one at all. So stop listening to the pundits if they're saying that. Please stop. It's for a very dreary fucking offseason. It's been morose, macabre in this part. This is the first time where it's like, okay, and I'll say this on record. I'm not forgiving them about going after 22. That stink and that stench is gonna remain on them, especially if you like a week or so ago, like a little snippet of his disposition came out. Just nasty, bro. Just a nasty human.
Man, y'all want that? Y'all want that? I don't want that.
Like he was getting asked, like he was like, it's a little weird to drive. Well, you say like an hour and a half away for a massage, and you took your own towel, and like I guess the attorney was like Deshaun, that's not a little weird to you? Oh no, that's just like come on. Anyway, I don't want to get down that road again, bro. But that stink and that stench isn't off of them yet. But the move like this, for at least right now, it does breathe a little hope into the franchise and some excitement and some positive adjectives. And we've criticized them about being safe, being conservative, continuity, blah 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 blah. They've shown us they've shown us in two ways that they're still trying to be aggressive. First was the whole ordeal with 22, but this move is showing that we may have brought the same coaching staff back, and I mean maybe we didn't shake it up a whole bunch in terms of coaching staff, but we are aggressively trying to get better. We would hope that it's on the offensive side of the ball, because if it is, and especially when with them being in the NFC and the NFC being in the state that it's in, all you just gotta do is just get in the dance, man. Just get in the dance, and everything can change.
Yeah, and it's just they tell you what they're doing, man. Like I said on the last podcast, they operate on must, needs, and wants. And like I remember in the earliest interviews, all they talked about was quarterback. We got to figure the quarterback. Mickey Loomis was like, look, we can't do nothing until we figure out the quarterback spot. Like that's been the key for them. They tried to go at the rapist, didn't work out. They backfilled with Jameis, but quarterback is still a must for them, obviously.
Yep. You can tell. Like they are telling you it is a must.
So, I appreciate that. Like it's just like, look, me personally, like I would have wide receiver like equally on the same thing. Because I feel like if you want to evaluate whatever quarterback you get in here, you got to give him some weapons, man. Like I post that little quote from Drew Brees today.
Yep.
Drew Brees was in New Orleans, like doing his thing, doing his, philanthropy thing or whatever. But he said, put pieces around him. Like he was talking about Jameis, but it's like, I just like look at that, Saints. Like put the pieces around him. Drew Brees is trying to tell you, give that man some weapons. Whether it's Jameis, Kenny Pickett, Malik Willis, whoever. I don't care who it is. Like you got to give him some weapons, man. Alvin Kamara is going to miss time. You know what I'm saying? You got Marquez Callaway out there. Give me Michael Thomas. Like we need more. We need more. You need more. Go get it. Like go get it.
for the first time in a while, it's a little exciting to be a Saints fan. Bro, the trade happened and Joey talking about coming to Vegas now too, bro. Go have the whole crew. I hope I'm not spoiling this before they announce it, but the Around the NFL podcast will be out there too, bro.
They gonna let us through. You gotta let us through.
I'm just saying, like, it is going to be a good time in Vegas. Regardless of what happens in the draft, it's going to be a good time. I don't care. Like, I want them to have a good draft, but if they don't, like, me, you, Bree, Jay, we still going. I'm
gonna have fun. I'm gonna have fun regardless.
Regardless, bro. It's not even a debate. But if we can get, bro, just imagine Thursday night, whether we doing our live pod, live cast, whatever, we doing it from a conference room or we at the draft in the media little area doing it, and they walk away with like a Kenny Pickett and a Jamison Williams, and then all four of us, maybe Mark Sessler, Joey, all go out Friday, turn up at a nice restaurant, bro.
Let's go.
This is big. So as Saints fans, I'll say, one, please know that regardless of don't pay attention to any trade fucking grades. Don't stop it. Don't look at a trade grade. Don't entertain it, because you're not going to be able to grade this trade until 3 or 4 years down the line. Because I'll tell you this: if the Saints draft Kenny Pickett, Malik Willis, what have you, maybe they surprise us. Maybe they go Desmond Ritter. I don't know, right? But they draft whoever this quarterback potentially could be. And that quarterback turns out to be a decent to good or great NFL starter. And the Eagles passed on him. And then everyone was like, oh, the Eagles are, stockpiling picks for next year so they can move up in the draft in case Jalen Hurts isn't the answer. Then they can draft a better quarterback in next year's draft class because next year's draft class is better, blah, blah. I won't say this out on this podcast right now. I do not love. I think next year's draft class is worse than this year's. And I know that's what I keep saying. Like, what are they talking about? I know people think that's a hot take. Oh, you got Bryce Young and CJ Stroud and Spencer Rattler. Like, I've watched these players play just from not just even evaluating them, just watching them play. And I'm sorry, and I know it isn't like a thing, but like I don't whatever it is for a quarterback, I don't see it when I watch them play. I don't see it. I think this quarterback class is better. So all I'm saying is that if the Saints can get their quarterback in this draft, and that quarterback goes on to be a decent good to great quarterback, and the Eagles fuck it up and they don't get a quarterback, then it's obvious who wins the trade. I'm not saying that's going to happen because on the Saints, they might fuck it up, but there's that possibility.
I just want to be able to enjoy, the days after the draft. We'll be doing a podcast breaking down, George Pickens or, breaking down Kenny Pickett, pulling up high school games and, old games he played in college, just breaking them down, just to be able to break down some offensive players and, get excited about it. Be like, okay, we're going to see these guys in the NFL, see what they could do, man. Like that's the fun of the whole thing.
Yeah. I mean, that's absolutely like the fun of it. And it's been a while, bro. It's been a while since we've been able to.
The last time we broke down a wide receiver. Damn.
Traquan? Or no, it's probably the wide receiver they drafted in the 7th round last year. Like, trying to fool ourselves.
I mean, I watched like 2 games of him, and I was just like, okay.
Right.
Like, okay, it's a 7th round wide receiver. He got a little speed or something, I want to be able to break somebody down and get excited,
I want. You know what I want, bro? I want on Friday night, Thursday night. I want to be in the hotel room, have my laptop, pull up YouTube, put on a slow jam, type in Jameson Williams versus in YouTube, bro. Just start clicking, bro. just look at it, just being like, yes.
Somebody said he Robbie Anderson 2.0 in my mentions. I can't get over that. Even Robbie Anderson would disagree with that.
Robbie, like what?
Like what? Are you tripping?
I saw it, bro, and I had to block it. It's literally one of the worst. And we've seen a lot of bad draft takes. That is one of the worst draft takes I've seen in a long time. Jameson Williams is easily the best wide receiver in this draft. It's not close, even with the injury. And lo and behold, if I don't have them on my timeline, they're blocked. But if you look what like Dan Blugler or whatever his fucking analysis says, like, oh, don't expect Jameson Williams to fall as far in the draft as people think. Like most teams still have him as a wide receiver one. And it's like, really? No shit. I wonder why. Like what are we doing? Like all you gotta do, you just gotta watch the games. We're still trying. I know he's a busy man. I send up like a follow-up email. We're still trying to get Tony Pauline on this podcast, to kind of do our yearly, check-in with Tony before the draft, because Tony got the Nuggets, bro.
Got the Nuggets, man. He's back out there. Pandemic over, man. He out
here. Yeah. Pro days. He got Sparrows, like Game of Thrones. Like he getting information. So, and someone even asked me on Twitter today, like, oh, is Tony going to be on the show? I was like, we're trying. Like he said yes, but this man is busy. He has like 2 podcasts. He got articles. He going to pro days. Man's busy. So maybe Tony is not going to be able to join us this draft cycle, but we're still trying. But if we are able to get him on, that would be kind of like just a great episode for us to have, because then we could really get some nuggets and things like that. I want to do really quickly hit on the PJ Williams signing, another 1-year deal for our dude PJ. I tweeted this before the huge trade today when the PJ news came out. I said, bro, PJ Williams resigned is the biggest news of the Saints offseason thus far, bro.
For real.
And I believed it. Like I wasn't using hyperbole when I said it either. I meant it.
Hey, not the hero you wanted. Everybody waiting for Tyrann. They're not signing Tyrann Mathieu. It's not happening. Like,
I think the only way he gets signed by the Saints is if he realizes that he is not going to get the money that he wants.
To me, he would have to like literally come to the Saints and say, "Look, I'll take whatever you want to give me, man. I just want to play," and that's not going to happen. Like,
not going to happen. This is essentially his last big payday that he's going to get as a pro. Right? Like this is his last
people
big.
Keep posting pictures of him in New Orleans, like he's from New Orleans. Like, yeah, he in New Orleans. Like, okay, like that don't mean nothing, man. Oh, CD Adams, it's CD gonna add him, bro. Like, okay, CD has no power in personnel, no power.
None. CD almost got traded this offseason, bro.
He's almost out of here. Like, come on now.
I think that's pretty much it. I will be interested to see, because this is one of these things that we've talked about before. Like we don't ever really know because it's always different from what's reported. I want to know how much money in terms of cap space the Saints have available to them right now.
You just don't know, man. Like you really don't know. I think the NFL PPA number is lower, something like 9 million or something. But we don't know. We don't know what the real number is.
Because like Bill Yates a couple of days ago tweeted like they had like 21 million. I don't know. Like we don't know. We don't know. So don't go by that. If if you can, just don't. It's just an imaginary number. Just
It is.
treat it like an imaginary number. I will ask you one more question before we get out of here. Wrap the bow on things. I'll ask you. I'm glad that PJ's back because it allows more versatility with Marcus Williams being gone. I don't know if he's going to be the full-time safety back there now. It'll be him and potentially Marcus May. Like, I know it's like they signed who today, but that Evans signing might be one of those low-key, like, oh, shit.
I need to go back and watch him because the draft he came out, I don't believe I watched a lot of that draft. So I need to go back and look, just see who he was as a prospect. Because that's interesting. I mean, he's a second round pick. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's just interesting to see what, I want to see I need to dig into his history. What kind of injury he had, what kind of prospect he was when he came out.
Well, I mean, I might, maybe not, but like, I think Game Pass is like $10 now for whatever reason. Maybe, it's $10. Maybe I'll pay $10 and see how he was in Tampa, for the season or however much time he had in Tampa. Because it could be a thing in theory, right? That it's a like completely like a whatever type of signing, but he may play like legit number of snaps if he is healthy and if he is decent enough.
And they've loaded up on defensive line.
Loaded up. Jaleel Johnson.
A lot of guys. Yeah, Jaleel Johnson. Taco Charlton.
Taco Charlton becoming full circle. I remember this draft, bro. I remember watching this tape and I was like, keep Taco Charlton away from me.
I did not like him. I was like, he was on my do not want list.
Yep, he absolutely was. Come to find out, we were right.
He's got them Shane Ray feels from him, man. I was like, ugh.
Oh, Shane Ray. Boy, back a little bit. Shane Ray had some good snaps for the Broncos for a little bit, bro.
A little bit, man, but he gone now.
Gone. But the last question I wanted to ask you is, how far do you potentially think Malik Willis can fall?
Man, I mean, it's just too much smoke about the Steelers, bro. Too much smoke. And, man, I'm telling you, man, I watched Mike Tomlin at the Super Bowl. I watched him. He was in the stands. Then when Malik came out there, he came down to the ground. And him and Kevin Colbert were together. I can't remember the podcast I listened to, but it was somebody that's always on the road, and they said that usually Tomlin and Colbert are apart. Like, usually Tomlin is one place and Colbert is another place. But all this offseason has been Tomlin and Colbert together, GM and coach. And they've been watching quarterbacks. And I just watched Tomlin, man. He was standing right there looking at Malik Willis, man, like looking at him. And when Malik Willis left, he left.
Yeah, he sure did. I remember it.
Done. It's like, peace out. You know what I'm saying? And maybe that means absolutely nothing. Maybe I'm just reading into things. But I just got a feeling like that's his guy. He talked about, like, before the offseason even started, he said mobility is high on his chart. And, and Malik Willis is the most mobile quarterback in this class. I think they're going to get him, man. I don't know where. I think they know they have to trade up. I don't know if they're going to trade up, above Carr, or they're going to try to be patient to see what Seattle does or whatever. I don't know. I just feel like Malik Willis is going to be on the Steelers. I don't know where in the draft, but I don't think he's going to fall to him.
No,
But I think they're gonna go get him. I just don't know where, man.
yeah, I could really see it too. And I'll say this as a person who strongly believes that Malik Willis is like above and beyond the quarterback winning this draft, and now that a lot of the draft posturing is over, everyone kind of has it at the consensus number one quarterback, and I'm just like, yeah, I watched one fucking game of him in like February, and I knew.
Yeah.
But it's gonna be fun. It's gonna be interesting. Hopefully, we 24 days away from the draft, man. That's 3 weeks and 3 days. Like it will be here before we know it. We will be in Vegas to experience it. I do have a goal for our listeners. I know I probably should have said this at the beginning because people tend to not listen to the podcast the whole way through. But we currently sit at having 84 patrons on Patreon. I'm sorry, 86. 86.
That's beautiful.
I am challenging our listeners that between now and the draft, so we got 24 days away, I want us to be able to have 100 Patreons or patrons. That's 14 more. It doesn't matter what you contribute. It can be $1 a month, $5 a month, whatever. If you have the means to do it, if you're able to, please do. However, that's the goal. So if you're listening to this, if you enjoy this podcast, you've been listening to us and supporting us for the longest time. We just need 14 out of what? So we get about 1,800 listeners, right? And so 86 out of those 1,700 listeners are Patreons. So that's like a whole bunch that aren't. So if you're listening to this, yes, I'm calling you out. 14 of y'all, please help us get to our goal of 100. Just a nice round number before the draft. We would truly appreciate that tremendously. But that said, big news with the trade today. If they hit it, it's going to be great. If they don't, we're going to have jokes for years.
It's a glimmer of hope, man. Like,
yes, it is.
Like we can't hear that on the left. And when the portal start opening, it's like, oh shit.
Oh, okay. Someone tweeted the funniest shit is that if they traded their 16 and 19 and to move up to like the top 10 drafted player, that player would be called 4 first. And I just about fucking died. Got 2 first, who first? Maybe got 4 first coming, bro. Anyway, we're gonna get out of here. We appreciate y'all. Please help us get to the goal of 100 patrons. That also gives you access to our Discord, which is alive and popping. We're trying to do more with the communities things, although still, under construction in terms of the Twitter communities things. But thank everyone for supporting us. We truly, truly appreciate it. Take that glimmer of hope, hold on to it, because it might get extinguished very, very quickly with this team. So hold on to it. With that, we're out.
Peace.
O'Reilly. Check engine light on? Take the guesswork out of your check engine light with O'Reilly Veriscan. It's free and provides a report with solutions based on over 650 million vehicle scans verified by ASE certified master technicians. And if you need help, we can recommend a shop for you. Ask for O'Reilly Veriscan today. O'Reilly Auto Parts.